Alright, so today's topic would be a fairly popular one in C-Sec and any exam. A fairly popular topic in mathematics, and the topic is functions. Now, before we go into an example, let me briefly explain the whole idea behind functions. Now, when we talk about functions, we can define function as, without using any mathematical jargon, a function is like a fancy machine that you input something and you get out something. Now, to go into detail of that definition, a function is like a mathematical machine, and the things that you input into this machine, those are the x values. Let me try to draw and illustrate that. This here, you can say this is the mathematical machine, and the things that you input into this machine, that will be the x value, and this machine will be the function machine. And the things that come out, or no, not the things, the thing that come out, because for every one x value it will have a corresponding y value, and things that will come out, we call that the f of x, or the function of x. So that is the whole idea behind functions. Alright, so I hope that gives you some clarity. Now let's go straight into an example, a very simple example. Now we have the function f of x, that is how this is read. F of x is equal to 4x minus 1. Now this 4x minus 1, that you can say that is the definition of this f of x. That is a function of this here. And let's just say we want to find the value for the f of 1. Right? Now we're being kind of specific. Instead of saying f of x, we want to find f of 1. So all we have to do is just like how we replace this x here with 1, we replace x with 1 inside the entire equation. So this here we read as 4, and instead of x, we put 1 minus 1. And that is f of 1, and we solve this. And f of 1 will be 4 times 1 will be 4, subtract 1. F of 1 will be 4 subtract 1 will give you 3. So the value of f of 1 is 3. Just like in the example, just like in the illustration, we inputted an x value and we got a corresponding value, and this value will be the y value, right? Alright, so that is a very easy example. Alright, so let's look at example 2. We have the function g of x is equal to 2x squared. That is a general function. G of x is equal to 2x squared. And we want to find g of 2. So take some time, pause this video and complete it quickly, and then let's correspond our answers. Alright, so we have g of x is equal to this, and we want to find g of 2. So all we have to do is replace x with 2. So the function will be 2 in bracket 2 squared. And g of x will be 2 2's 4. 2 times 4 is 8. So g of 2 will be equal to 8. So as you can see here, we inputted 2, and the thing that we got out would be 8. Alright, so we looked at some simple examples of functions. Now, some of those same simple examples would come in maths paper 2 and even in paper 1. But sometimes you'll also see something like this, a composite function, in which we will be combining two functions. So we have the first function, f of x is equal to 3x minus 4, and g of x is equal to x squared minus 2. And they ask us to find fg of x. So we have to combine these two functions now. What this question is basically asking, or what it is telling you to do, is it is telling you to put in the function g of x into the function f of x. So this is what you do. You f g of x. So this is what you're doing. Wherever you see x inside of this equation here, you're replacing it and you're putting in everything of g of x. So this will be 3 in bracket x squared minus 3 subtract 4. So you see what we did there? We place everything for g of x inside of f of x. That is how we combine the function. Wherever you see x inside of this equation, which is here, you're replacing this x and you're putting everything that was in here. And then you expand. So this will give you, we distribute the 3. 3 times x squared, that will give you 3x squared. Subtract 3 times 3 will give you 9. Subtract 4. And that will give you 3x squared. Negative 9 subtract 4. That will give you negative 13. So that is the new function, not a new function, that is the function f g of x. That is how you find for composite functions. Alright, so we have the final example for the night. The final example using composite functions. We have the function f of x is equal to 5x plus 2 and g of x is equal to x cubed minus 4. And they are asking us now to find fg of 2. So there are two ways in which we can work this out. But let me show you my preferred way, the way that I prefer. The first thing we got to do is identify the function f of g of x. Just like what we did just now, we got to find that function. We got to put the function g of x into this function. So let's go do that. F of g of x, we're finding the general function first before we find fg of 2. So that will be, we put back the 5 and instead of x we're writing back this entire function here. 5 bracket x cubed minus 4 close bracket plus 2, and then we distribute the 5. 5 times x cubed will give you 5x cubed minus 5 times 4 is 20 plus 2. That will give you 5x, it should be cube, right? 5x cubed negative 20 plus 2, that will give you negative 18. So this here now is the general function of fg of x, but we don't want to find that. We want to find fg of 2. So now since we found the general function, now we can replace this x with 2. So this will get fg of 2. And all we're doing is replacing 2 inside of this equation. This is going to be 5 bracket 2 cube minus 18. And this will give you 5 bracket 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, subtract 18, 5 times 8, 5 8 is 40, subtract 18, and that will be 22. So fg of 2 will be 22. The first thing that we did, we found the general function, which is fg of x. And after you finish finding that general function, then we replace 2 inside of that general function. Now the other way in which we can find fg of 2. If you notice, fg of 2, we have the function g of 2 inside the function f. So what we can do first is find that g of 2 and then put it inside that function f. So instead of g of x, we want to find g of 2. Now will be, instead of x cubed, it will be 2 cubed minus 4. And that will be 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, subtract 4, that will be 4. So this is the function g of 2. Good. So since we finished finding that function g of 2, we put in this function inside the function f, and we know the function f is this function here. So let's just write back that f function. F of x is equal to 5x plus 2. So we're putting g of 2, which is this function here. We're putting this inside of this function. So all we're doing is we're replacing x with the function g of 2, which is 4. So this will be fg of 2 will be 5 bracket this function here, which is 4 plus 2. That will give you 5 4s 20 plus 2, which will give you 22. So fg of 2 will be 22. Two ways you can decide how you want to do it. Composite functions. Alright, so here are three questions, here are three questions that you can work on your own. Comment your answer, comment any question that you have. You have the function f of x is equal to 5x minus 3, and you have the function g of x is equal to x squared plus 1. And they're asking to find a, f of 5, b, g of 2, and c, f g of 3. Three simple questions, work them out, good luck.